From Southern Maryland's weather leader, this is a JB Weather Alert.
Hello and good evening. I'm Forecaster John Bordash with you right before 5 o'clock here at 4:51, and we're beginning to see activity increase in coverage, and we're beginning to get a few of these warnings now across parts of our region. A lot of the activity right now kind of focused from about Huntingtown to Waldorf points north and then back across northern Virginia. All of this, though, is increasing in its coverage, though, and so we're going to see a lot of this move through southern Maryland here really over the next 4 or 5 hours. I really think we're just now starting to get in on our time frame. So I think a lot of people might have let their guard down, saw that a lot of this was happening up towards the DC metro area, but that isn't where it's going to stay over the next few hours. Let's get to what we have going on right now. First, for everyone, we have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 9 o'clock. The main risks here are going to be the potential for these storms to produce 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and that potential of 1-inch hail. We also have a flood risk as well, which we will touch on here in just 1 second. Let me come back over here. So plenty of warnings. I'm going to turn the lightning off for a second. We're going to try to uncomplicate this as much as possible. I'm also going to turn the radar data off for a moment. So you can see a whole bunch of colors. Again, everywhere in yellow, that's your severe thunderstorm watch. Now, I can even turn that off because that's not overly important at the moment. We have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. One up here for the Annapolis area, central Anne Arundel County, central parts of PG County. This goes until 5:45. A separate severe thunderstorm warning here for parts of DC and central PG County until 5. And then our newest warning is this bad boy down here. This is going to be northern Calvert, southern Anne Arundel, and southeastern parts of PG County. This goes until 5:45. So those are your severe warnings right now. If you're in any of these areas, the main concerns with your storms, and I will put the radar back on so you can see, the main concern with this kind of like conglomerate of storms, it's not really like 3 individual storms, it's kind of like a messy, disorganized line. The threat with all of this, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get another warning for the rest of Anne Arundel County, but main threat with all of this, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. We're also starting to get in on a little bit of a flood risk now because you have so much available precipitation in the atmosphere, and we're seeing rain really kind of hit the same area so far today. These are your rainfall totals thus far. So areas shaded in blue, that's where you're getting up over an inch. So Edgewater up over an inch, getting into that in Annapolis over here towards parts of Fairfax County, DC, PG counties. These green polygons here represent your flash flood watches. Those go roughly until 7 or 10 o'clock depending on which polygon you are in. So that's what we have going on. All these different little icons here, the yellow ones represent hail, blue ones damaging winds. So that's kind of an overview right now. If I put radar into motion here over the last hour, let's zoom out so you can see. This is the general trajectory of these storms, and you see all of them are moving to the east here. So if you're in Lexington Park, if you're in Lesby, if you're in Cobb Island, down towards St. Mary's City, here in La Plata, if you're at St. Leonard, Prince Frederick, a lot of these places I get a lot of common questions about. If you're in those locations, you have seen very little thus far. A lot of this activity has been to your north and back to your west. That's going to change, I think, here over the next little bit. These storms are going to continue to move to the east. the highest amounts of instability, and I'll see if I can show this to you. Our highest amounts of instability right now are right over southern Maryland. So this map I know just lit up. This is looking at available thunderstorm energy. We measure this with a metric we call CAPE. Convective available potential energy. That's, again, just storm energy in the atmosphere thunderstorms can tap into. Higher the number, the more energy in the atmosphere, the more, and that can allow storms to become more severe. These brightest colors up in this region, really kind of over our area, that represents CAPE values getting over 2,000. And in my mind, if I'm looking to see if we are going to be looking at severe weather, I'm looking for CAPE values over 2,000. And that really, as you can see here, the brightest colors are really centered southeast of Washington, D.C. I'll turn that off because that's a bit much, I know, for people to take in. That's to say, though, that as these storms continue to track here to the east, I believe they're going to continue to strengthen, and they're going to kind of increase in their coverage. You can kind of see out here in northern Virginia, with these storms that are racing here to the east, not even racing, they're drifting at like 25 or 30 miles an hour here, that are moving eastward, they are beginning, this line is starting to take better shape a little bit. It's not overly impressive, but you see we're starting to increase the coverage, and this won't be everything that moves through. We'll likely see additional storms fire back to the west that move through overnight tonight after sunset as the main cold front comes through. So our highest severe weather risk is really between about 6 and 10 o'clock. Granted, you're already getting in on that in northern areas, up here in southern Anne Arundel, southern PG, northern Calvert. But the main severe weather risk right now is between right now through about 10 o'clock. Again, 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts, 1-inch hail. That tornado threat's rather low for today. And okay, that was the cancellation of a warning. Sorry. I have my little warning system right here, and it lights up all the time. That made me lose my train of thought. That tornado risk for today is remarkably lower than it was on Friday. I don't think we have a great tornado risk. We don't have a lot of twisting and turning of the winds throughout the different layers of the atmosphere. This really does just look like damaging winds, hail, and flash flooding. And all of those by themselves can also cause tremendous damage. I mean, we got the report in earlier today of the damage that was up in like North Beach and southern Anne Arundel County from Friday storms, and people thought maybe another tornado hit that area. No, those were just straight line winds that produced winds upwards of 80 to 85 miles per hour. So you don't need to see a tornado warning to see craziness happen in your area. So you want to take these severe thunderstorm warnings as seriously as you would a tornado warning. Granted, again, the threat of a tornado is rather low. But we can see right now we have a pretty hefty storm with a lot of lightning moving here into Anne Arundel County, about to cross the Bay Bridge. So if you have any interest in this region, excuse me, you're taking 50, let's say you're headed out across the Bay Bridge on over to the eastern shore. If you're on the eastern shore coming the other way, you're going to see some slow traffic, I'd imagine, and we're probably going to see our next flood warning, our flash flood warning, get issued here for the 50 corridor. We're, again, starting to see a lot of this sag south and east, so now we're getting in on it up here into Dunkirk, Lower Marlborough, Sunderland, and the beaches. Another storm firing up over here in the Waldorf area, Mattawoman, that'll be tracking with this too. So heads up Eagle Harbor, Aquasco, Huntingtown, Prince Frederick here over the next hour. And then all of these storms back here are about to cross the Potomac into Indian Head, Nanjemoy, La Plata, Hughesville, Mechanicsville here. Again, gradually over the next hour or so. So yeah, we have a lot going on. And we're going to continue to watch all of it. Again, this isn't a crazy severe weather outbreak across the region. We do have a lot going on, but that's just because we have a lot of different storms. Not that we have a whole bunch of high-end storms or tornadoes. We're just looking at we have a greater coverage of severe weather. So stay weather aware. I'll be here in the Storm Center throughout the rest of the evening tracking everything. If you get any warnings here in Southern Maryland, I'll be with you. You can always catch my updates, facebook.com/JBWeatherLLC, Twitter at JB_weather, Instagram at JBWeather, and of course, always on the website, jbweather.net. So stay tuned, stay weather aware. Don't let your guard down. Again, really between about 6 and 10 is when most of us are going to start to get in on the severe weather threat. Have a nice and safe one and keep it to... Oh, I see someone asking, what about Lexington Park? Everything I just said applies for Lexington Park too. 6 to 10 o'clock. Have a nice and safe one and keep it tuned right here to JB Weather for the latest.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.net.